Hello, I'm the Angry Spork, taking issue with G.I. Joe reinstated. Seasoned Joes took a couple pages to train or be shown up by some new recruits, while Cobra Commander is left bouncing off rubber walls after Destro takes over his operation. He has plans for some powerful nanites, even using them on his associates to guarantee loyalty, and apparently has a new main squeeze. Some Joes converge on his base, but it doesn't go entirely well for them, resulting in some casualties and the abduction of Snake Eyes and Scarlet when the villains make their escape. Issue 3's cover sees Zartan racing through the swamp on a souped-up jet ski. He really needs to update his GPS. He's nowhere near Dave and Buster's. We open on a classroom in suburban America, where a woman that looks an awful lot like Lady J starts instructing students on the Cobra threat, and how G.I. Joe made sure we'll never have to worry about them again. Until a company wants some easy money by merchandising nostalgia.
It means an object or device featured in a cartoon that could easily become a mass-produced toy.
Meanwhile, Roadblock clobbers Major Blood, the last of their foes to apprehend. It's clear that Scarlet and Snake were taken so Joes wouldn't fire on Destro as he fled, but they find it odd that the blue-cloaked commander was a no-show. With most of his associates out of the way, Blood activates a disco light? In an underground tunnel Zartan had secretly built, his daughter is taking the both of them to an unknown location, her pappy apparently keeping all sorts of secrets from her. He gets a call from two of his dreadnoks who are on a camouflaged roadway in the swamp, telling them to meet at their old hideout in a half hour. Secret tunnel, hidden roadway. Did Zartan coincidentally hire the same people that furnished the Batcave? Too bad for the Noks, they encounter Wild Bill in a big honkin' chopper that looks like its designer was a big Master Chief fan. He opens fire, not hitting them, but forcing them to reverse and eventually crash their watercraft. Bill leaves, as ordered by Flint, and they head to the rest of their crew, finding everyone lying in the swamp unconscious, with Major Blood getting away. We jump to a gas station where two men are counting the money they'd made holding up liquor stores when one hears a noise. It's Zartan and Zanya sneaking in through a secret entrance.
Man, I haven't seen this place since I was 13. And my friends from school were always curious why someone would choose Exxon as a theme for their quinceañera.
One crook spots them, but upon seeing Zanya's dreadnought shirt, he tells a bunch of other crooks that are apparently here all of a sudden to vamoose. But Papa Z doesn't want any witnesses, so his daughter guns them all down. 30 hours later, in Transcarpathia, someone is expositing how months of planning will soon bear fruit, as the nanomites devastate technology in America, leading to chaos and some loss of life. Then, perhaps out of indignity, the voice tells an old man in a metal mask to lie there and rot, like it wasn't an impressive enough feat or something, while staying off-panel and going on about some last-minute touches, just before we jump to a new scene. 3 locations and 2 pages. I double-checked the scan site to see if I missed a panel, and near as I can tell, I didn't. Kinda makes the pacing feel more clunky if you ask me. In Joe HQ, the survivors of the attack are recuperating, Duke and Hawk fully aware they've been infected by nanites, which explains the device Blood detonated earlier. There goes my theory he was trying to distract the Joes with an impromptu rave. I mean, come on, they had the Dreadnoks dress up like a rock band to hypnotize people. It's not outside the realm of possibility. Despite losing a few new recruits, this was apparently a trap to infect the Joes, which is why Cobra didn't put up much of a fight, and it's speculated that, as some snakes got hit by the mites too, they probably weren't made aware of it. Hawk wants to find Cobra Commander, certain he'll be with Destro, and supported by his arms company, Mars. Drapeface would have gone with the rival organization Pluto, but they're really small, really far away, and people argue whether they're really weapons dealers at all. Between Destro's political pull in and around Transcarpathia, and Hawk wanting to keep the nanites a secret, they'll need the world's best tracker, Spirit, and Kamakura, who narrowly avoided the nanoblast. Fortunately, he was protected by a pile of dead gators he had just slaughtered. He just can't get enough of gator killing. They need to track down Billy, a.k.a. William Kessler, a.k.a. that eye patch dude from issue 2, a.k.a. Cobra Commander's son. He's familiar with Destro's castle and has helped the Joes before, until he snapped and disappeared. They know he's in Scotland, so half the job is done, but he might not be so helpful this time, as he never really recovered from the last time of many his dad tried to brainwash him. He could have just said he didn't want any more ties for his birthday. Though if Billy disappeared for several years and they only have leads to his location, how do they know he hasn't recovered? Could he have not gotten a therapist under an assumed name or something? Anyway, Spirit vows to rescue their missing comrades, and we go to Mainframe explaining to Flint that the nanobots infecting the Joes are attacking their white blood cells similarly to HIV, which is why you always wear protection when you're battling theatrical terrorist cells. Additionally, the mites seem to be using the troops' very molecules to replicate themselves, and immobilizing them by attacking their nervous systems. The only good news is that this means Cobra hasn't figured out how to reverse engineer the tiny machines, or else they could do much worse, much quicker. To stop them, they've got over 70 of the world's best hackers, engineers, and programmers, supervised by the best among them. Damon and Firewall, all now tasked with helping their new boss Mainframe find a solution to their nanite problem. First one to suggest turning the infected soldiers on and off again gets court-martialed. The next day, our trackers have found Billy. Wow, that was quick. Who tells them they aren't welcome, but slamming the door is no match for a quick katana. After seeing Kamakura's clan tattoo, he gives them 5 minutes to explain. Then we go to a prison cell where Scarlet decides it's time to vent about Snake Eyes leaving her, after giving 15 years of her life, which, wasn't there something about them not being able to be together because they were Joes or something? So were they just in an unofficial but barely still committed relationship? This is kind of confusing, but it's understandable that she'd be mad. How he took off without an explanation or apology. He moves his hands, but she tells him to shut up with his excuses, saying he was selfish when she stood by him after everything he went through, because she loved him.
Isn't that the sweetest thing I've ever heard?
Sounds like someone is on guard duty when they'd rather be watching their soaps. It's actually Mistress Armada, complaining about them adding to the family drama. A simple confused question by one of our heroes leads her to explain that the Destro they've been dealing with lately, the one that captured them, is the illegitimate son of the original Chrome Dome, who apparently left a pregnant woman behind to run off with the Baroness, and in recent years has come down with a mysterious ailment. Now, Destro 2.0 has taken over the family business, and even has Cobra Commander on the premises. And that's when a glass of wine is thrown by a disapproving Baroness at a nearby guard. Did she intend to hit Armada and miss? Or does she think that particular year of Chardonnay is too good for her boyfriend's son's girlfriend? Anastasia admonishes her for disgracing the name Destro by giving the enemy all this information, but Armada's logic is that after they're shown off as trophies to Papa Metalface, they'll be dead anyway, and takes off because of the smell. Baroness essentially agrees, telling the prisoners not to lose sleep over their impending demise, and then yells at the commander when he starts yapping. So I guess they would have found out lead Snake Man was nearby anyway? Fortunately for our heroes, they each happen to have smuggled in some material to make an explosive exit. Because despite clearly having their gear taken and put in prison clothes, Destro's crew is really bad at checking for contraband. After the blast, and despite needing to get a move on, she stops to hug Snake, who tears his shirt into a mask. Then they find some weapons to model with. Considering that Snake's bare face has been likely shown off as he was taken to that cell, I don't know why he's bothering to hide it. Either the artist wanted to cut back on shadow covering, or the ninja just really commits to the mystique. I wonder if he'll get mistaken for Storm Shadow now. They make their way through the castle, giving us some actual blood and heavy implications of what Snake did to one guy's throat with that sword, and we go to Joe HQ, where someone quotes Marty McFly. "Man, this is heavy."
There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Mainframe shows an image of the nanomites attacking cells, while upgrading themselves on a molecular level, giving the infected Joes a week left at most, unless they find out how to change the bot's programming. Hawk is informed that some news outlets want to talk about the Florida attack on Cobra, and plan to run some footage they somehow acquired, which has sparked protests outside the White House. Are we sure that doesn't have anything to do with the president refusing to make Casual Friday a national holiday? Someone seems to be feeding the press secrets, with Cobra's best interest in mind. "Tucker, we're looking at you." Duke ominously offers to make whatever footage they have disappear, but Hawk doesn't think it'll matter if they activate the nanites, though he's unsure why they haven't struck yet. They get a transmission from Scarlet and Snake Eyes saying that their underground prison is likely in Scotland, and their blue-hooded arch-nemesis is locked up as well. Before they can elaborate on Destro Jr., Armada and some goons barge in shooting, disrupting their call. It wasn't because of the bullets hitting the comms device or anything, they just have a really terrible phone plan. They manage to take them out and head for the exit, only to be met with 3 more Iron Grenadiers, who tell them to wait. They fight them off until it's revealed they're really Spirit, Kamakura, and Billy, who also has the crest of Snake Eyes' clan on his arm.
That's good, Billy.
And then they all skedaddle. Funny thing is, Billy just gave the tattoo artist $50 and said, "Surprise me!" Mainframe tells the Joe commanders what they learned from Scarlet's encrypted message, including Destro's intent to activate the nanites nationwide very soon. Their comrades are suffering because of prototype broadcasters that can activate the nanites in a small radius. Shipwreck asks why they don't use a Star Wars missile that's not supposed to exist to destroy Destro's satellite, and Mainframe says they can't pinpoint it while showing a graph of dozens of man-made objects orbiting the planet, public and otherwise. Including your Star Wars system, Shipwreck. No Bothans died giving us this information, but a Jar Jar did. It wasn't even necessary to the mission, it was just for funsies. While the nanobots strike, Frame's team will take care of the satellite, while the rest of the Joes confront any Cobra forces that try to invade during the chaos. In Transcarpathia, Destro Jr. tells his ailing father the time has come to conquer America, undoubtedly making him proud. He orders the activation of the Gaijin satellite, apparently managing to get the lightning to double as its own sound effect. That's just economically sound, if you ask me. We focus on CC as the machines respond, then back to the Destros, Sonny Boy expositing that other nations will want to take advantage of a nanite-weakened America, so Mars will sell them weapons, and after getting their money, will turn on their customers until the U.S. is theirs.
"You'll be so proud of me, Father. You know what would really make me proud? Using those nanites to cure my terminal case of mysteryitis."
Man, these later generation Snuggies are looking really intense. Junior says the family business will go on and hands him a photo of his parents before Dad left, and it's implied his mom has already died. The elder Tin-Face gestures to a portrait of Baroness, meaning he wants to see her, even though that image looks like it was done by a really bad AI art generator. Trust me, I've tried some, and I don't know how Rogue punching Sentinel went this wrong. Anyway, the younger villain says he can't see the woman that prevented them from being a family, and the comic just abruptly ends. No to-be-continued caption or anything. Which, again, I double-checked the scan site and there were no missing pages. This issue was fine, not much action, but a few more answers to some more interpersonal quandaries. Until now, I didn't feel like I needed to know about the previous Marvel series to get what was going on here, but there seems to be some established history with Cobra Commander's kid, definitely how he was manipulated and possibly his connection to Snake Eyes. There definitely seems to be more there, which may explain why the comic didn't feel it necessary to show more of that chat with Billy. And the more I think about Mistress Armada expositing to Scarlet and Snake, the more I scratch my head about it. It is a classic villain mistake, the whole overconfidence that they're gonna be dead soon, so what's it matter if they know? Then we have Baroness admonishing her for it, then moments later not really being that upset. And our heroes even get confirmation that Cobra Commander's nearby, almost like it wasn't a big deal in the first place. If it was crucial that they not know he was there too, why not put them in a different cell far enough away where they couldn't hear him? I'm not saying it was a pointless scene, I'm just saying it felt a little off. Like, part of it felt necessary, but part of it felt like it was strictly for the reader to know these things, and to give the heroes something to give their comrades a heads up. Duke suggesting making some footage disappear? Yeah, that doesn't have great implications, even if we know that he's one of the good guys. But hey, he's been gone for a few years, so we don't know what happened, yada yada yada. Then there's our sadly scorned Scarlet. The two seem to be able to communicate in some way, so it can't just be that Snake can't talk, or chooses not to, depending on the continuity. While on the surface it seems like O'Hara has every right to be mad, for someone that didn't read those older comics, we don't know what exactly Snake went through that made her support so meaningful. So it's kinda hard to really get invested in it. But we've got another issue for some clarification, so tune in next time to see how Destro's attack goes, and if maybe Snake just wanted a prenup. I'm the Angry Spork, and man, have I got issues.